Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. And of course, the Brian Craig Show podcast is brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. If you're in Florida and you need roof repair or replacement, Tom Laporta can help you. He's a good MAGA guy, and he'll never sell you a new roof you don't need. Online at laportaroofing.com. Okay, so here we are, a week and a half since President Trump won re-election. And I got to tell you guys, it's still, aren't you like amazed, Kathy? I get goosebumps. It's the miracle of this is amazing. And we found out something that President Trump did today that was so fantastical. It blew my mind. Last week, or was it earlier this week? I think it was earlier this week, President Trump sent Elon Musk to meet with the Iranian ambassador to the United States.
Amazing.
And it wasn't even in the news. It leaked out of this big dinner they did at Mar A Lago with everybody, including Sylvester Stallone, on Thursday. And I was like, what? I mean, that shows you how Elon and him are. But Elon Musk is to Trump what Bobby Kennedy was to President Kennedy. He's his right-hand man, kind of like the role that Jared Kushner had in the first term.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that bothers JD? I mean,
maybe.
I'm not trying to start anything, but JD is supposed to be his right-hand man. And JD should be the one doing things too. I don't see him doing anything. I don't see Trump giving him anything to do yet.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that bothers him.
Maybe.
Like, well, why aren't you sending me? I'm the vice president. Like, give me something to do.
I'll tell you why. Okay, the thing with the Iranian...
I mean, what's he going to do with JD? He's got to give him some kind of a job or a position. Like,
well, he's vice president of the United States.
Well, other than that, he's got to give them something to do.
The thing with the Iranian ambassador, JD Vance couldn't do that. Elon Musk is not a government official. He's a private citizen.
Okay.
So, and because he doesn't hold any positions, there's no congressional oversight. There's not. So he can do what he wants. Right. You understand what I mean? Okay. So it's a way for Trump to do things and talk to people. It's like a back channel to do it, okay? And so far as J.D. Vance, Trump may have some distrust of vice presidents. He had a bad run last time. You know what I mean? So he might be a little cautious with his VP this time around. Pence was in every meeting, and I believe that Pence and his team were the source of every single leak out of the Trump regime for those 4 years. Every single
leak. He probably
leak.
went to the meetings wired up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, honestly, he's
Michael
a snake
Cohen
in the grass.
Yeah, so yeah, but what Trump has been doing is amazing, and all of these picks are amazing. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about Tulsi Gabbard here in a moment, but I wanted to talk a little bit about Matt Gaetz and Pete Hegseth, and they're in complete meltdown mode. Pete Hegseth, okay, there's a lot of things that are being reported that they're implying that the press are saying are Mar A Lago sources. The Gateway Pundit has a story today. Who's the leaker of Mar A Lago? And I'm going to tell you who the leaker is in Mar A Lago. No one. There is no leaker.
Yeah, they're trying to make them feel nervous.
Yeah, so the press are making things
what's
up.
What's leaking out?
Nothing. The press are reporting things, calling it a leak.
They're making it up.
Saying that it's a source for Mar A Lago to try to cause internal division at Mar A Lago.
Well, here's the problem. You have X, which is not monitored like Jack Dorsey, and I've seen two instances where Elon and RFK Jr. tweeted or posted. RFK Jr. posted, "It is not true. I am not being shut out. I just had dinner with the president today. I am at Mar A Lago right now." And Elon, the same thing. Trump is basically, and I said this last week when he got elected, he is already running the country.
Yeah.
It's happening. And I told Brian that when he got elected, I said he'll be running the country now because nobody's dealing with Biden. He doesn't know what day it is. Trump is the one all the leaders are calling. He is already running the country. He already is.
In many ways, yeah.
And Elon has been at Mar A Lago for like a month.
He's moved in.
And JD is there now, RFK Jr. This is a huge resort with multiple rooms.
And houses and everything.
And houses. So they are all staying there and having meetings and getting stuff done. I almost said that. So we're about to say getting stuff done, right? It's already happening. So this is what my advice would be. Anything you hear in the mainstream news or the cable news, please take it with a major grain of salt. Anything on MSNBC is complete BS. Complete BS. They just make it up as they go. And CNN is iffy. They do have some people that call them out, which is good. But these news outlets just leak. They say they'll say it's an anonymous source. They make it up.
They make it up, and then they say they have a source.
I think people are finally wise to this, and I think this is why the ratings are so down. But MSNBC, the ratings are so down because the Democrats are pissed at the network for not getting rid of Trump. Like, they're really pissed off. Like, that's how Democrats are. They canceled themselves.
Well, so I want to talk a little bit about Pete Hegseth and Gates, and then we'll get to what they're trying to do to Tulsi. If you notice, President Trump makes these announcements, this person has this job, this person has that job, and he just puts a press release up on Truth Social.
Right.
And he doesn't go to the press and defend it, talk about it, do interviews about it, which is good. But they're trying to discredit each and every one of his picks that they can. Now, they haven't done anything about Huckabee. What are they going to do? He's a pastor, right? And some of that, Doug Burgum, I mean, he's non-offensive.
Well, they can't attack everybody.
But there's four that they hate, okay? Pete Hegseth, Matt Gaetz, Tulsi, and Bobby Kennedy. And I was watching today, and they're saying they're talking on MSNBC about how, who Bobby Kennedy, what kind of pick is that? He is the nephew of President John F. Kennedy and the son of Bobby Kennedy. He deserves a seat at any table in this country that he wants, Robert Kennedy. Okay, they can all of a sudden the Kennedys are bad to the liberals. Are you kidding me? Kennedys drive cars into canals and kill women, and they go and call them the dean of the Senate or something. So they're trying to get rid of him. Pete Hegseth, they were trying to accuse him of being involved in some sex assault. He had and it was just like he hooked up with some woman in California years ago.
Yeah.
Wasn't a sex assault. Now, I know liberals think that heterosexual sex is all assault, I guess, right? But he had a hookup with somebody.
Well, they've convinced themselves that all white Christian men are rapists.
And Pete Hegseth has a lot of tattoos, okay? And one of them is a cross on his chest. It's a big cross, and it's not the standard cross that you see. It's from, I mean, it's from many different things, but it's
it looks like something like a medieval knight would have.
Yeah. It's like from the Eastern Church.
Yeah.
I was talking to Ian, our travel agent that does our cruises at Cruise and Travel Depot. He says in Israel, you see that cross all over the place. I say, well, you don't see it over here too much. It's not the normal cross. We don't have that cross.
No.
But they're trying to say he's a white supremacist because he has a tattoo of a Christian cross.
Well, because it's a cross that's equal on all four sides. Our cross, it looks like the crucifix that Jesus was on. So the middle is longer than the sides that comes out of the side.
But it's still a Christian cross.
And that's how cathedrals are built to look like, if you look at from the top, it looks like a cross.
Yeah.
Where the nave is really long and then the wings coming out on the side are shorter. It's a cross. It's just, like you said, a different type. There's all different kinds. It's not a typical one that you see.
And it's a big cross on it.
The problem with the left is all they do is scream from the rooftops, racist, sexist, homophobe, blah, blah. People are so sick of their BS.
Yeah.
They are so sick of it. They offer no solutions.
Well, yeah.
Nothing to solve a problem. All they do is create division and name call.
What it is,
people are tired of it.
The media are the boy who cried wolf. So they've done it. Nobody even hears it. So Pete Hegseth, they got it. They accuse him of some sex assault. It was a hookup, and then they're trying to call him a white supremacist because he has a Christian cross tattooed. And Pete Hegseth. I told this to a caller this morning on the radio. I said Pete Hegseth is the closest living American to John Wayne that we have right now. He's like a John Wayne type person, but you know what I mean? John Wayne's been gone for a long time, but you know what that means. So they're freaked out over him. And the reason they're freaked out over Pete Hegseth is because he is not connected to the permanent Washington class, the politicians, or the military-industrial complex. Then Matt Gaetz, okay, we'll end with Tulsi. Matt Gaetz is third, right? Bobby Kennedy, they're freaking out over. Pete Hegseth, Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is the perfect pick for Trump's attorney general, okay? The way I keep describing him to people, and some people don't like this, but to me, Matt Gaetz is kind of like the male version of Laura Loomer. He goes after people that are against MAGA. He's very loyal to Trump. He doesn't care, and he just does what's the right thing, and you can trust him. And they've got these ridiculous allegations against him. There's a guy in federal prison that was trying to say anything to get out of prison about Matt Gaetz. And all these lies, all these slanders that they're putting out there about Matt Gaetz, that's all Kevin McCarthy crap. Because remember, he got rid of Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. And Kevin McCarthy was trying to do to Matt Gaetz what he did to Madison Cawthorn to get him out of Congress. And all this is from him.
Meanwhile, with Pete Hegseth, he was accused, but there were no charges filed.
No, it was just a hookup.
So if there were no charges filed, because the reason that happens is they don't want to file a false police report and go through all that. So any woman can come out and make an accusation. And if you think that's going to bother MAGA or Trump, it's not, because this is standard.
Yeah, this
for
is
the course now. I mean, this is what they do for every guy.
So now they're going up against Tulsi. They're trying to start this thing with Tulsi. Every day they're trying to start something. So Tulsi Gabbard, who the Democrats have on like the terror watch list, right?
Yep.
And now she's the intelligence advisor to President Trump. So this is Debbie Wasserman Schultz today on MSNBC talking about Tulsi.
Tulsi Gabbard is someone who has met with war criminals, violated the Department of State's guidance, and secretly, clandestinely went to Syria and met with Assad, who gassed and attacked his own people with chemical weapons. She's considered to be essentially, by most assessments, a Russian asset, and would be the most dangerous. Is that how you consider her? Is that what you consider her? Oh, yes. There's no question.
Okay, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, she considers her a Russian asset. Now, this is the thing with that. Tulsi Gabbard not only has been very anti-U.S. involvement in Ukraine, she's called out a lot of Zelensky propaganda, and she's been very public about it. And remember, she left the Democrat Party, okay? And now she's working for Trump. So, whatever, let me tell you, the more that the media and these Democrats say terrible things about Trump's pick, the more I want them. It tells me they're the perfect picks.
And I don't understand why, after their ratings plummeted last week and continue to be low, why the media just absolutely cannot learn from their own mistakes.
It's a habit.
It's like
that bad habit.
They have not changed course. They're back to the old thing. It's not more. It's more than a habit. This is who they are. This is who Democrats are. They can't change who they are. You know what I mean? This is how they're born. It's innate. It's their personality. It's like a personality flaw. And that's why that type of personality is drawn to that party. They love control. They love power. They love to shame people. They have temper tantrums when they don't get what they want. They think they're better than everybody. A leopard can't change its spots. So there might be some people in the network that can be introspective and be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this or that. But people don't change. And that's the way they are until the networks make the change for them, replace them. They fired Chris Wallace. Big deal. He wasn't even an anchor, didn't even have his own show. That's no big deal to me. And I hope they didn't just sacrifice him to I think they just fired him to see what happens and see if their ratings go back up. Nobody cares about Chris Wallace.
No.
They need to fire some big people. Caitlin Collins, everybody.
Regroup,
rehire, start the whole narrative. But they can't because this is their personality. They can't change who they are or what they are no matter what. They never learn.
Here we are. We're moving on 2 weeks since Trump won re-election, right? Week and a half. And I'm starting to hear back on the morning show from some of the Democrats. Never Trumper Steve called me today for the first time. It's starting to get calls from these people. And if you listen to them, none of them have, and this goes for the media and all these, they haven't accepted what's happened. And this is what's happened. Trump did not only win, okay, he won every single one of the swing states. He won the popular vote nationwide, and he flipped a bunch of counties in New York State and California red, okay? So they lost this constant battle against Trump. Trump not only has won re-election, he came back after being gone for 4 years, won the popular vote, won all the battleground states, won a whole bunch of demos that Republicans never win. 40% of Gen Z women voted for Trump, right? Their fight against Trump and all these things, they don't understand that America has rejected wokeism. Like I saw,
they can't accept it.
Hakeem
They
Jeffries
want to
today.
act like we really didn't know what we were voting for.
Yeah, Hakeem Jeffries today was attacking Matt Gaetz. And my first thought is, oh, okay, so there's some person that Donald Trump could have picked that Hakeem Jeffries would have said, that's a good pick. Are you kidding me? This knee-jerk disagreement with everything Trump is doing right now is making it worse for them. We want it to be worse for Democrats. We don't want them to recover and regroup and be effective because they're terrible. But they really are they're still in that denial phase of the grief of losing the election. Now,
Brian, they never move on to the acceptance phase.
Now, I'll tell you guys, if we would have lost, it wouldn't have been fun. I would not have enjoyed it, but I'd still be here, carrying on because that's the way it is.
I remember I said to you, and I knew Trump would win. But I said to you like a couple weeks before, I said, if Kamala wins, and you said that's not going to happen, I said, but if she did, I said, I don't know if I can bring myself to talk about her every day, every show. I said, because if Trump doesn't win, he's out of politics. I can't talk about him anymore. I don't want to talk about her. It would have been so hard for me, especially, and probably Brian, and maybe even you guys listening, to talk about her and what she's doing. It would have been awful because it would have just been one nightmare, like a nightmare you can't get out of. It would have been one problem after another.
I've been doing this so long. I've won elections. I've lost elections. You do it. And, like today, this one guy called me and he starts talking to me about Trump versus Kamala. And I'm like, don't you understand what happened? Kamala's retired. She's done. Yeah. She lost. She's going.
They want to keep it going.
There's no point in discussing Trump versus Kamala anymore. It's over.
They don't understand this is what we wanted.
When Biden and Trump met at the White House this week, Biden was giddy that Trump was there and not Kamala. Wasn't he? I mean, he was so excited.
Oh, yeah. Joe Rogan's convinced he voted for him. He said, I've never seen him that happy.
I've been telling you guys that they voted. That's why Jill Biden wore that red outfit on Election Day. That was letting everyone know.
She wore all red.
She wanted everyone to know she was voting for Trump. Now, I want to tell you guys about MyPillow. The Christmas specials are up. There's huge deals going on right now with our promo code Kane at checkout. Remember, you're not just getting great products at MyPillow with our promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout at MyPillow.com. You're getting great deals. This is the best place to do your Christmas shopping. When you buy people Christmas gifts, whether it's your work part, the prices are so good. If you've got like a work Christmas thing, like Secret Santa at work, MyPillow is perfect. When you give someone the gift of a MyPillow or any of the MyPillow products, the slippers, the sheets, the towels, the pet beds, but the pillows, people get so excited, especially if they don't have any MyPillows and you give them a MyPillow, they get so excited. They cannot wait to go home and go to bed and sleep on it. And it's a gift that they will remind you and thank you for years to come. Most gifts you give people, what'd you give them last year? What did you get last year? Even remember? You give someone the gift of a MyPillow, they will remember it. So go to MyPillow.com.
And use it.
Oh, yeah.
They'll use it.
For years and years and years and years. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, and load up to your Christmas shopping. All right? Oh, I forgot. Free shipping on orders over $75.
Get the flannel sheets, guys.
Oh, yeah, huge deal on this.
I wanted to play this.
Well, we're going to break.
Okay, there's a soundbite on CNN about the reporter's reaction to Matt Gaetz. Did you hear this?
Oh, no.
It's hysterical.
We'll hear it after the break. Okay, so we'll take our break. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. So often, we're forced to choose between who we are and who others want us to be. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is staying true to yourself. Launching November 20th on Kickstarter, Friends and Faith, a revolutionary TV series where African heritage meets modern faith. On Friends and Faith, meet Ornella. She's 24 and turning her lifelong dream into a reality. Friends and Faith is about identity, faith, and the courage to be authentic. Meet Ornella. She's 24 and turning her lifelong dream into a reality. Mansa is the perfect son, student, and Christian until he meets Halima. She's bold, brilliant, and unapologetically herself. Together, they navigate the push and pull between tradition and transformation, faith and real life. Their story will resonate with anyone who's had to balance expectations with their true self. Launching November 20th on Kickstarter.com, Friends and Faith will change your life. Make sure to follow Friends and Faith on Facebook at Friends and Faith, where there will be a live Q&A session where you can ask questions and learn more about the project. On Instagram at friends_and_faith. Let's make this dream a reality. That's Friends and Faith on Kickstarter.com. Unlock your inner strength today with the debut book from author Marco Benavides, Experiencing God's Love Through the Gifts and Healing Powers of the Holy Spirit. Start your journey of spiritual rebirth and healing. Discover the power of faith through the Holy Spirit. If you're struggling with mental health challenges like PTSD, bipolar disorder, depression, or anxiety, you are not alone. These battles can feel overwhelming, leaving you feeling lost and disconnected. But there is hope. Join author Marco Benavides on a transformative journey over adversity through his unwavering faith and divine blessings. With this book, you can unlock your inner strength and embrace the healing energies of the Holy Spirit. Begin your spiritual rebirth and order your copy of Experiencing God's Love Through the Gifts and Healing Powers of the Holy Spirit from author Marco Benavides. Available on Amazon in paperback, Kindle, and Kindle Unlimited, as well as Barnes & Noble, Google Play Books, and it's also available in audiobook. Make sure to visit the website experiencegodslovethebook.com for more information about the book, Experiencing God's Love Through the Gifts and Healing Powers of the Holy Spirit. Order your copy right now. When it comes to safety at work, you deserve the best. Protex-DZ.com equips workers just like you with top quality safety gear and workwear that's designed to protect and enhance your performance. Whether you work in construction, healthcare, road work, warehouse work, and more, Protex-DZ.com have what you need and what you're looking for. From durable steel-toe safety sneakers, tactical military boots, or construction rain boots, your feet will be protected in any environment. Need head protection? No problem. Protex-DZ.com carry everything from construction helmets to anti-fog gas masks. They even have face shields. And don't forget about hand protection. Their selection includes industrial gloves, kitchen gloves for restaurant workers, welder gloves, and even insulated gloves for electricians. When you're looking for custom gear, Protex-DZ.com have an incredible selection of print-on-demand items, including phone cases, t-shirts, hoodies, and more. You can customize them for holidays like Halloween and Christmas, and they ship worldwide. Visit the store right now at Protex-DZ.com. View the inventory. You will be impressed. You can also find them on Facebook at ProtexDZ. And right now, their countdown discount has started. Buy one item, get 20% off. Buy two, receive 25% off. And buy three, you'll get a 30% discount. Protex-DZ.com. Your partner in safety, performance, and style. Protex-DZ.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. So what's going on here? Matt, something new with Matt Gaetz?
Yeah, listen, this is was on CNN.
Doesn't mean you can't be Attorney General, but he's not going to receive a very warm welcome from the career folks there. We've seen people today, our fellow reporters, crying, hugging in the hallways. I've gotten sources from text messages from sources, Trump administration, the Biden administration. No one is endorsing this.
I am.
Okay, that's not true because I just saw that, here we go. This is Tom Emmer, who is the House Majority Whip.
His political opponents? Well, let's remember first, Jay, that the Biden Attorney General, Merrick Garland, used the office to prosecute his political opponents and to go after parents who were peacefully protesting at school board meetings. Yeah. Donald Trump ran on a promise to shake up Washington, D.C. He's doing exactly that, and Matt Gaetz is one of the examples.
Right.
That's on CNN. So that's the House Majority Whip leader, Tom Emmett, whatever.
And you know what?
He supports Gaetz.
Marco Rubio yesterday was asked about Matt Gaetz. I did not know this. Matt Gaetz worked for Marco Rubio when Marco Rubio was in the state Senate here in Florida before he was in Congress. He worked. He worked for him.
The media again is trying to give you the impression that nobody likes Matt Gaetz, that nobody wants him. That is simply not
we
true.
love him.
That is simply. I'm just speaking as far as politicians.
And Marco Rubio, they said, "Well, you would support the and will you support the gay thing?" And Marco Rubio said, the job of the Senate is to advise and consent, and the presidents have a right to have working in their cabinet who they want to work with.
I agree.
So what they're supposed to have hearings, they're supposed to gripe, get their little couple minutes of saying whatever they say, give their advice, and then consent. And of course they're crying in Washington because a lot of crimes were done. They're
terrified.
This Matt Gaetz is the only person in Washington, or you could send to Washington as Attorney General, who would go after these lawfare people. What Ella was talking about with Merrick Garland. I'd forgotten about this. They've done so many crimes, we've forgotten about them, right? Though they were sending federal agents to write down the license plate numbers of parents at school board meetings in Virginia. Remember this?
I remember.
That's like at the beginning of Godfather. The feds are writing down the license plate of who went to the wedding.
To the wedding. Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, these are just parents, and what did they do when they got the numbers and they ran them? There's so many crimes that the Democrats have been doing these last 4 years. It's hard to believe.
It's okay for them to do it.
It's hard. It's hard to believe that they even did it. And there's been so much collusion between these judges and Letitia and Fannie and Garland and the White House under Biden. There's so many crimes, and it's not revenge to investigate and arrest criminals. I'll tell you something. I was watching the opening trial day of the murderer of Lincoln Riley, and it's just got awful. I can't. Well, I'm not going to be able to watch the trial. It's just too brutal. And this guy was brought here by Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And I'm watching this guy in court. He has zero remorse. You can tell he's guilty. He's not even upset when they're playing the recordings and going through the details. And they're going through. She had that wristband on that was monitoring her pulse, and they have the moment she died because her heart stopped.
Yeah, like a Garmin something. And the exact time her heart stopped beating.
And all of this. And Lincoln Riley is dead because of what these Democrats were doing. But they made Americans the enemy.
Women should not jog alone, especially where there's woods. It's just not safe. I cannot tell you how many true crime shows Brian and I have seen. I would say where it's like a random killing, 90% of the time the woman's jogging in the woods somewhere. Remember that one girl was jogging in the street? Her dad didn't go with her the one day in a neighborhood. Yeah. She got raped and killed in the bushes.
And Lincoln Riley, this was 9:00 in the morning.
Exactly. I'm not blaming her. Obviously, but when you're a woman, you have got to be safe. And she had on. They were talking about what was so chilling. They were talking about all the precautions she had made to keep herself safe. She had a tracking thing on. She had her phone with her. The guy still killed her. I mean, and she fought him for 18 minutes, and that was it. If you're going to jog alone, bring it like Tommy Lahren said, bring a gun with you. Like there's actually jogging clothes you can wear that have a slot for a gun.
Yeah.
Do it. Get your license if you need to in your state and take it with you. Because if you're out alone and you're a woman, I don't care how big you are or how much you work out, you are not going to be able to overpower a man. It's not going to happen. They're just stronger.
And you know what?
And they have more muscle mass.
The joggers
do it, and they got that adrenaline going.
What happens? I'm not sure this is true in Lincoln Riley's case, but what happens with a lot of these joggers, male and female, they got a routine. So what happens, these creeps, they stalk them. They don't know they're being stalked for a long time. They go the same route, same time every day, and then they do what they do. And women should not jog alone. And when I go to work early in the morning, I see a lot of joggers, men and women. A lot of women by themselves. Sometimes they have a dog. Dog's not going to protect them.
Well, unless it's like a trained pit bull or something, a German Shepherd, maybe.
It's the guy will kick the dog, and these women that are the joggers, they are women that are in peak physical condition. They're like athletes, and these murderer and rapists are sometimes just slobs, out of shape slobs, and they overpower them. Yeah. It's very bad. It's very dangerous.
I mean, we're not blaming Lakin. Obviously, it was a horrible thing. And this never should have happened.
No, but women should not be going unescorted.
Women should not go jogging alone.
Women need to have chaperones or travel or go jogging with a group of women. You were telling me today, Adam Walsh would have turned 50 years old this week.
Yesterday, yeah. Adam Walsh, which was, John Walsh's son, kidnapped and killed right here in Fort Lauderdale. Brian and I... In Hollywood, which is a suburb of Fort Lauderdale, basically. And Brian and I grew up in Fort Lauderdale. And I remember when that you weren't living here yet.
I was in Ohio, yeah.
But I was living here, and it was on the news every night for like months and months. And I got to tell you, that it happened at the Hollywood Mall, which I'd been to many times with my mother. That event completely changed my life. I never felt safe again after that. I was terrified, and I was a latchkey kid. I had to walk to school alone. I had to walk home alone, and I was like 10 years old. You know what I mean? My mom was at work, and I was terrified. I used to walk home from 4th and 5th grade. I was 9 and 10 years old, but after this happened, I was 10. I would walk home, and I would hide behind bushes. This is true, or trees on my way home. I would go from one tree to the next till I got home. Every day, every morning, I was petrified of getting kidnapped and killed because that story was on the news so much. It was awful. And he was with his mom. He was in the mall with his mother. And I guess she was shopping, and I think she sent him off to go play in the arcade or something, gave him money to go play a video game. Malls had arcades or something.
It was, I can't remember which store it was. I want to say Sears.
It was Sears.
They used to have, if you remember, in department stores, like home video games were new, and you could go to the electronics section and play Atari.
That's right. So he was there, and she went shopping.
Which I used to do.
And who knows what happened? I don't think anybody grabbed him, but it was 81.
I don't really know.
And maybe the guy
regardless,
just convinced him. Awful. His birthday was yesterday.
The thing with this Lincoln Riley monster, this trial is going to be in sentencing, and all of this is going to fit in with the inauguration, and a lot of times, like Adam Walsh has saved maybe millions of people from being crime victims, and thousands of people probably, or many thousands, are alive because Adam Walsh, maybe even millions, because
he would have been
Adam
50.
Walsh. Yeah, he changed like everything. And Lincoln Riley's death, as tragic as it is, it will help save so many lives.
That's true.
Because the timing of the trial of this monster is going to fit in with the incoming Trump administration and the deportations.
I think it had a lot to do with Trump winning Georgia. I think it had a lot to do with how people voted, because it was a high-profile, preventable crime, and the way the left handled it was awful.
Well, the way they handle is I interviewed a while back. Some of you may have heard me when I interviewed Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I brought something up to her because I knew this had happened. Two of Marjorie Taylor Greene's constituents, right before I interviewed her, were killed in a car accident by an illegal. Okay, and I talked to her about that, and she was surprised I knew about it. But I knew about it, and when Lincoln Riley's murderer, or the guy that killed these constituents in Georgia of Marjorie Taylor Greene, what the Democrats say, well, how many Americans have killed people? Like it's okay because there's some bad Americans who do some things too. And people hear that and what does that even mean? Do they even hear themselves?
They just do not value life.
No.
At all, Democrats. They're evil. They're evil people. They're horrible people. They're pro-abortion. I mean, there are women on TikTok. I don't follow their pages, but I've seen clips on libs of TikTok and stuff that have had dozens and dozens of abortions. They celebrate it. They have parties.
Really?
This is how sick these people are, celebrating it.
Celebrate that.
They've had abortion parties. I've seen women with I mean, this sick. These are sick people. They're demented. They are incapable. And I told you the Bible talks about this. There's people that live in darkness and people that live in the light. They live in darkness. And all they do from the moment they wake up to the time they go to bed is think about how they can F things up. Honestly, that's all they do. They love control and power over people. They're angry, they're unhappy, they're miserable, and they want everybody else to be as unhappy as they are.
Well, this big change that's going on now, right, with all these Trump picks, right, Tulsi, Bobby Kennedy, and by the way, they got to give Trump some credit here. He has given 2 high-profile positions to lifelong Democrats, right? Tulsi Gabbard, I know she became her, but, and Bobby Kennedy. Okay, and he's brought in people that are lifelong Democrats into the upper levels of his second term administration here. And what's happened in this country, in the last 4 years, there's been such a red pilling going on. Sylvester Stallone, who was praising Trump at Mar A Lago, that's a big deal. Trump, Stallone lives in Palm Beach, and when Bill Clinton was president, he lived in Miami. And I remember Bill Clinton was president, and Stallone, this really ticked me off when Stallone did this. I'm a big Stallone. Everyone's a Stallone fan, right? He had this big party praising Bill Clinton at his mansion. He gave Bill Clinton, I was so ticked off at this, he gave Bill Clinton a pair of Rocky boxing gloves that were actually used in the movie. And he was sucking up to Bill Clinton. I'm so surprised, And here we are years later, Sylvester Stallone's grown up, and he's MAGA. And, the thing about Stallone...
Yeah, but he didn't have the balls to come out and support Trump until he won.
Maybe.
And that really pisses me off.
I don't know.
Like Hulk Hogan,
I don't know about that.
No, he didn't just get red-pilled over the last week.
I don't know about that.
No.
He may have been doing some things we don't know about. Because, let me tell you, Stallone, a lot of actors that aren't acting anymore come out and, I'm concerned. Like Justine Bateman was she on Jesse Waters? Right, and I like Justine Bateman, but she's not really a working actress anymore. Stallone is. He's got that show, Tulsa King, right, on Paramount. His daughters are wannabe Kardashians, and they got a reality show, right? And he's trying to make big stars out of his daughter. So he's still like a big Hollywood guy, Kathy. So he's like a working actor, not a has-been. And he comes out and supported Trump. I think that's pretty courageous.
I think it's cool, but I think it would have been cooler if he had gone to the RNC.
Well, that would have been nice.
Done something before.
I would have liked that.
It's easy to support somebody when you're on the winning team.
Well, I'll take it.
But the thing that's amazing that's happening is at Mar A Lago now, everybody's there. Trump had a big party last night. Of course, I guess our invitation got lost.
That's why I wasn't on the air yesterday.
And Stallone was there. Elon, JD, everybody, Tulsi, RFK Jr., they were all there. And like I said, Trump is running the government now from Mar A Lago. He is not in Washington. He is not bothering with the noise or with these people. And I would like to see him run the presidency from Mar A Lago personally and just not go to Washington unless he absolutely has to. I mean, Melania doesn't want to live there. I mean, why should they live there and live in a town where everybody hates them and they got to deal with this BS all the time?
And Mar-a-Lago's nicer.
Stay at Mar-a-Lago.
It's much
more
nicer.
Secure. Have everybody come to you. Make Mar-a-Lago the White House and the center. And then what happens is all these other people, they're not there. They're not around chirping in your ear. And they feel left out. And he needs to give that impression that they're not even at the table.
And you know what, Kathy?
That they don't matter anymore because they don't.
When he was in his first term, if you remember, they were spying on him in the White House.
Exactly.
And Obama...
Exactly. Bugs and everything.
Obama signed an order authorizing the surveillance of Trump in the White House when Obama was no longer president and Trump was. And if you remember...
He might be worried about that happening again.
They found out about this early on in Trump's first term. They had a story that was a complete BS cover story. The whole West Wing had to move to Bedminster because they had to redo the air conditioning system in the West Wing and the Oval Office. That was the cover story to clear it out of all the bugs that Obama had placed throughout the West Wing.
He might not move back there because of that.
I don't think Trump feels that he can talk in the White House.
No, and I don't think he should go only for state dinners or to meet. It's a very short flight from Palm Beach to New York. It's a 2-hour flight. So, Mar A Lago is at the northern end of Palm Beach County. So it's a 2-hour flight. So I think he should only be in Washington to meet world leaders. But look at this. President Milei came to Mar A Lago from Argentina this week.
It's closer than Washington, Argentina.
They're all coming to him. And I think it's better. I think he should stay there. If you notice, he chose a lot of people in his cabinet from Florida. And I think he's going to make Florida the center of the government. And that's what he should do, because he can monitor who's in, who's out. If he goes into the White House, he loses some control. But at his own home, he has complete control over who's there, who's not there, who's let in, who's not let in. He can make sure there's no bugs and this and that.
Yeah, he's not being spied on.
Exactly. It's much more private, and shut out the mainstream media. Screw them. In fact, I would even set up a press room at Mar A Lago and be very selective on who you, like Peter Doocy would be good. He's fine. Be very selective on who you let in and have the press conferences from Mar A Lago. I mean, he doesn't have to be in Washington. There's no law that he has to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Screw these people.
No, I think it's a great idea. And now when he was president-elect the first time, he held court like he's doing now at Trump Tower. So, I mean, we don't know if he's going to stay here most of the time or not, but he should.
Well, his wife isn't. She doesn't. She said she's going to be a part-time first lady, whatever that means. I mean, I like Melania, but I'm a little disappointed in her lack of presence. Like, I saw pictures from this event last night. I didn't see anything of her. I know she does stuff, but I'm sure she has her reasons, though. I'm sure she has her reasons. But I'd like to see her a little more around with her husband.
She's fine. I'm glad she didn't go to meet with Biden and Jill. They broke into her house.
No, I think she should have gone.
They went through her drawers. They went through her closet.
It's tradition,
going through the first lady's underwear drawer isn't. They violated Melania.
I understand that.
She was violated. Kathy, could you imagine if we came home? If we came home today, we were out, we came home, and a bunch of people had been here and gone through your dresser drawers and your underwear drawer, you wouldn't feel like violate, and you'd go and hang out with those people because it's tradition? I don't think so.
I would.
I wouldn't let you.
I would do it. Trump went. And they did the same.
Had to.
This is the deal. This is a tradition of the first lady having tea with the incoming first lady that goes back to, I think, Abigail Adams.
I wouldn't have anything with those people.
This is a couple centuries old tradition, started with the founding fathers. And Melania, she might be an American citizen, but she didn't grow up in America. And I don't think, so I'm going to give her a pass on this because I don't think she understands the American traditions that we have. And maybe didn't learn about them so much, and it's not as important to her in that regard because she grew up in Eastern Europe. But if it was me, I'd be pissed, but the tradition is more important than how she feels. It's an American tradition to do that. She was upset that Michelle didn't do something for her, and then she turned around and did the same thing to Jill. So Jill, she was. So
Kathy, Jill and them broke into her house. They also violated Barron's room. No, I wouldn't sit and have tea with these people.
Like I said, the tradition is more important. We have institutions, we have traditions in this country that go back to the beginning of the country. And you need to be a part of that.
Kathy,
when you're
maybe
the first
President
lady.
Trump didn't want her to go. Maybe he didn't want, after what they did to her. They totally, you got to remember.
Tell us what you guys think. I think I did a poll on this.
You got to remember, the Trumps have seen the video inside Mar A Lago of when they tossed it. When they broke in.
I understand. Jill Biden's a horrible person, but
you're gonna go have tea with the burglar of your house? That's crazy, Kathy. I don't think you're thinking clearly on that.
No, because it's about the tradition. It's about the tradition.
They blew that. Now I want to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting.
I am thinking
roofing.
clearly.
Not on this one. Tom Laporta, he's a good MAGA guy. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need. He works on every type of structure and with every type of roofing material, and he covers the entire state of Florida. His son's just joined the business, who's a veteran.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and he joined the military after 9/11. And Tom can handle a job of any size, no matter how small, no matter how large. If you have a single-family home, small house like we have, or you have a huge condo community with 150 buildings, he can handle it. He also does commercial buildings, municipal buildings, churches, schools. He does it all. And he's not just a roofer. He is a contractor, a general contractor. And that means in the state of Florida, as a contractor, he can deal directly with your insurance company on the cost of the roof replacement or repair, which speeds things up a lot, I'm here to tell you. A lot of times people have to go through public adjusters. Sometimes people even have to hire attorneys to get money from their insurance company. Tom Laporta can deal directly with your insurance company. It helps out a lot. Now, the number we give out is his cell phone number, okay? So you can call or text. Don't believe me? Give him a call. It'll be him. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. All right, we're going to take a break. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
From author Valbona B. Voca comes a book of poetry that will take you on a soulful journey through life's most profound emotions. Whispers of the Heart, From Shadows to Light. Through each poem, you'll explore the raw and transformative moments that define us. Love, loss, self-discovery, and spiritual awakening. From the joy of friendship to the peace of self-acceptance, every verse captures the beauty and the pain of human existence. Whispers of the Heart offers wisdom and solace. It will guide you to pause, reflect, and find meaning in life's shared experiences. It's also an invitation to connect deeply with yourself and those around you. Prepare to be moved, uplifted, and transformed by the power of words that embrace both light and shadow with poetic grace. This book is also a great addition to your book club. Available right now on Amazon worldwide, North America, Europe, Canada, Japan, India, and Dubai. The Kindle edition will be released soon and in the Google Play Store. Order your copy of Whispers of the Heart, From Shadows to Light, from author Valbona B. Voca, and let the whispers of the heart leave a lasting impact on your soul. When it comes to toy shopping this Christmas, you'll find everything you're looking for at ToyBakery.com, your ultimate destination for every child on your gift-giving list. ToyBakery.com has everything you need for children of all ages, from babies and toddlers to tweens and kids of all ages. ToyBakery.com has everything to make their eyes light up. When you visit ToyBakery.com, explore their incredible selection, including the Star Wars toys, Lego sets, Barbie and Friends, Disney characters, outdoor toys, puzzles, games. They even have adult collectible toys for the young at heart. ToyBakery.com is your one-stop toy shop for magical gifts that will spark imagination and joy. Don't wait. Start your holiday shopping right now. Visit ToyBakery.com and make this Christmas unforgettable. ToyBakery.com. Bring holiday smiles to everyone on your Christmas gift-giving list. ToyBakery.com. What does it mean to love without limits? Author Casey Yao will take you on a journey through the profound and deeply moving story of a mother's courage and sacrifice in the book She's Always Here, a memoir of a mother's indomitable love, available on Amazon. Author Casey Yao shares her mother's journey from Hong Kong to Canada, a brave pursuit for a better life for her children. She faces an unhappy marriage, endless sacrifices, and finally, a devastating diagnosis of stage 4 lung cancer. Casey's mother was the very definition of resilience. Written with raw honesty, author Casey Yao captures the heartbreak of watching a loved one suffer, the strength her mother showed even in her final days, and the unbreakable bond that only grew stronger. She's Always Here is a tribute to one extraordinary woman, but it's also a universal story of love, loss, and healing. Available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. This book is a great addition to your book club, too. Discover the power of love that lasts beyond a lifetime and order your copy of She's Always Here, a memoir of a mother's indomitable love, from author Casey Yao on Amazon.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, Broadcasting from sunny South Florida, Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. So Whoopi Goldberg's been injecting herself in the news. And, it's really amazing that, these leftists, they see what happened. They've been totally rejected by the country, and they're not changing their tune at all. I mean, when a girl breaks up with you, you say, well, okay, I don't want to do that next time. But they're doubling down on what got them rejected. I mean, I don't get it. So Whoopi,
they never learn. She
did two things. She's taking part in this sex strike. And if there's some poor guy that has to have sex with Whoopi, he must be so excited that she's on sex strike. I mean, I don't know who's having sex with Whoopi Goldberg.
There's plenty of MAGA women that'll be happy, and they're much hotter, I'm sure.
Well, but those are good girls who, good Christian girls. They're not. But Whoopi Goldberg, she's been on it.
Maybe some.
So anyway, then today, the sex strike was yesterday. Then today, she goes out. I don't know where this came from.
She's going to get fired over this.
She said terrible things and slandered this bakery. Let's play. This is Whoopi.
The place that made these refused to make them for me.
Oh,
really? Yes.
What? Oh,
no.
One of the women spit it out.
Let me explain. They said that their ovens had gone down, all kinds of stuff, but folks went and got them anyway, which is why I'm not telling you who made them. But can't be because I'm a woman, but perhaps they did not like my...
If you are Donald...
Politics, she said, and then it cuts out.
Well, let me set up the thing. It's Holteman's Bakery in Staten Island.
Yeah.
It has been in business 145 years. It's a family-owned business. So this has been passed down from multiple generations, 150 years now. I mean, how many businesses are like that? It is a very well-known bakery, and like you said, the one host spit out the name.
No, spit out the food. They were eating the food. She spit out the food.
Oh, I thought she said Holtman's.
Did she? When she spit it out? Maybe she did.
So Whoopi accused them of not serving her. Then the one woman, I think, said the name of the company, and then the girl
maybe she did
spit it out. They're going to get sued, ABC and Whoopi, for defamation. It's happening, I promise you that, because this is a very old, well-known bakery in New York City, and this is the problem. And then they gave a press conference today, which I thought was epic, and they had the city commissioners out there. The owner, it's a woman. It's her father left it to her. The whole family, the whole town, and the place is packed, by the way, now. And they came out and said, our boilers were down. People get there at 2 or 3 in the morning to start working, right? When you have a bakery, you get there early. And their boilers were down, which you need to bake things. And they told Whoopi this. So she had sent people there, and they probably got cupcakes that were already made, that they had in the case that had been made the day before, because they didn't want to get fired and show up with nothing. So Whoopi is this one guy came out and told her to get over herself. He said, we serve everybody. It doesn't matter your political affiliation. And he said for her to think because our boilers are down that it's about her and that we didn't want to serve her is so egotistical. And he's like, get over yourself. This is how liberals are. They think the world revolves around them. They have a victim mentality. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg thinks that Trump's going to put her back on a plantation. I mean, she's really stupid and is such a twisted egomaniac. She is so out of touch. And I'm telling you, I'm predicting this is going to get her fired. They're going to file a lawsuit. She has said a lot of crazy things. She made a really crude joke on her birthday as well that I won't repeat because she turned 69 years old, so you can guess.
No, don't say it.
And she said that on the air on a daytime show.
On broadcast television, by the way.
Yeah, I think if this bakery sues ABC, which I'm sure they have plenty of lawyers contacting them today, I think Whoopi Goldberg will be fired for this, and she should. You shouldn't. You have one rule on the radio. Nobody's allowed. Now they're not a sponsor of the View, but she defamed a business for no cause, They didn't tell her personally, we're not serving you because you like Kamala. She even said, I'm guessing it's because of this. Why would she even guess that? What kind of a person goes somewhere and they tell you our ovens aren't working right now, and then in your mind you think, well, they're just not serving me because I don't like Trump. What is her mind like? Is her mind that far gone, or is she that egotistical? It's incredible to me, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think she'll get fired over this? It's a big story.
The View is
They're
part
awful
is
people.
part of the ABC News division. They made it that a couple years ago because they talk about news so much. I don't understand why that show's on. It's always been a poison show ever since it first came on, like 25, 30 years ago, when they had this young, she was young then, she's probably in her 50s now, but they had this young girl on who was in her 20s who was really stupid.
Yeah, Debbie something, that Greek
and
girl.
The show has always been a poison place where whoever the ladies hosting it were just nasty, vile, unladylike, and it's just always been just a terrible place with unhappy people. And and now what's happened is it's just become just crude, low class, guttery. It's
Kayleigh McEnany said the whole point of The View when Barbara Walters started it was to have different points of view, and she said all these women voted for Kamala.
Yeah, they want one.
How is that different points of view? It's one point of view. So the rumor is that they are going to be replacing some of the hosts with Trump hosts. But we'll see what happens with that. I mean, if they should bring on Megyn
that won't
Kelly,
work, Kathy, because the problem is the name The View is the brand is damaged. You can't fix it. The show just needs to go.
If they bring in all new hosts, they can do that.
Now, Trump's made a lot of announcements and everything, and I don't know if it's possible for him to name anyone that's going to be more controversial than Matt Gaetz.
No, I think people are terrified. I think people are afraid of him more than Trump.
I do too.
I really do. I mean, that was a shock, and I'm assuming Gaetz is an attorney. But that was a shock appointment. I mean, I thought Pete Hegseth was shocking, and I was happy about that. I'm happy about both. They're both like epic moves. And I was worried Gaetz wouldn't get voted or passed, but now from what I'm reading, it's going to happen.
Well, the thing with Gaetz is I've been at a few things that Matt Gaetz has been at, and I've been, I don't know Matt Gaetz, but I've been close to him.
You've seen him.
I've seen him up close, and I was in a room that wasn't really that big that he was in at the Turning Point conference that I went to. He is one of the most popular MAGA people in the country. People go nuts, and not only that, young people go nuts.
Yeah.
And all these things they say about him, they're not true. This thing about this trip, none of it's true.
This is their go-to.
And yeah.
It's their go-to story.
It's just not true. In fact, on that particular trip, I don't know if he's married to this girl now or is
Ginger. Yeah,
they're married now.
Yeah,
she was with him on this trip where he supposedly did this thing with this girl. Really? So his fiance let him, hook up with this girl? Give me a break. What's that? It doesn't even pass the smile test. Okay, so none of it is true, and they are terrified of him But you know what? He's a very, very great, shrewd politician. He's responsible for getting rid of Kevin McCarthy as the Speaker of the House.
They're all afraid of him.
He did it,
and he does. He has no fear. But so it'll be interesting for sure. And I think there's a lot of people scared right now in Washington.
This thing about I want to talk about this too. I know I've talked about this on YouTube a couple times, but I think it's important. This Senate leadership thing in the Senate, when just the way President Trump wanted. I don't think Trump wanted Rick Scott. I like Rick Scott, and I know Trump does too. He was our governor before Ron DeSantis. He was an incredible governor. I talk about it a lot. I'm not going to go through it. But the Senate is very complicated with all these weird rules. And Rick Scott has not been there that long. He just got reelected to his second term. I know it's 6 years, but that's not long in the Senate. He's the junior senator from Florida, by the way, not even the senior senator. Marco's the senior senator. And President Trump needs leaders in the Senate that understand these complex rules, because Schumer's still there with the Democrats. He knows how to use all the rules and make up the rules and do all kinds of things to twist the rules. You need someone there that knows how to do that. These cabinet picks, if there's to get these guys through, you're going to have to use all the tricks of the trade. And I don't think Rick Scott was probably up to that. So I think things are going just like Trump wanted.
Here's what you have to do. Wherever you live, not all of our audience is in Florida. This is a podcast. And even on Brian's radio show, he has listeners all over the country and the world. Email, text, call your senators, and very politely say, if you do not approve Matt Gaetz, you will no longer get my vote. Senators don't have term limits. They're in there forever.
Yeah.
And they need your vote over and over again, okay? It's not like a president who has 2 terms and they're done. So you just simply say, if you don't vote for Matt Gaetz, that's who I want. I'm not going to vote for you next time. Boom.
And
done. That's all you got to do.
The other thing about them is these I hope they get recess appointments because although I would like to see hearings with Hegseth and Matt Gaetz.
That would be
fun. Because it would be a lot of fun to watch. But getting them in place and what they're going to do is so important. You know, the recess. I did not know exactly how the recess appointments worked until the other day.
I read up on them too.
I saw one of the senators talking about it. Mm-hmm. And when a recess appointment is until the next Congress comes in. The next Congress is in 2 years. Yeah. So the recess appointments are in place until the midterm elections. 2 years is a long time. And, at the end of that 2 years, if Matt Gaetz and Pete Hegseth get recess appointments, they're going to do so much good. They might go through the regular confirmation process and just sail through without controversy in 2 years.
Plus, if there's an election, they can run on that. A senator might not get reelected if their voters say, that could be an issue. Are you going to put him through? Because if not, I just read Rasmussen did a poll, 64% of the country is in favor of mass deportation. That's huge. Yeah. Okay. And so this is what Anna Navarro thinks we don't understand this. This is what people want. 64% of the country, that's quite a bit, definitely more than half. And Trump, they announced, will start the deportations at like 12:01 on Inauguration Day immediately. It's immediately. So he will have all the paperwork, whatever he's got to do. I promise you that'll be the first executive order that he signs will be, and he'll hand it to Tom Homan, and boom, you're off to the races. That's the first thing he's going to do. 64% of the country is in favor of this. This is why we voted for Trump. So if any news pundit or talking head tells you or says on TV, the American people really don't understand what they voted for, that's BS. Everybody knows exactly why we voted for Trump. This is what we wanted. Yeah. They just cannot accept it. They cannot wrap their heads around this, that people actually disagree with them.
Exactly.
They can't take the rejection.
No, they can't. Now, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support. And, if you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of all the podcast episodes, okay? And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. Our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode of the program. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson, Christy R, and John S. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. Again, if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode of the program. All right, we're going to take a quick break. There's a lot more to talk about. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
Are you 55 and feel like life's best moments are in the rearview mirror? Think again. Author Michael Cook will show you that turning 55 is just the beginning of a vibrant, fulfilling journey in his book, Over 55 and Alive. With humor, heartfelt stories, as well as actionable, practical advice, author Michael Cook will take you on a transformative path through the joys and the challenges of this milestone. When you read Over 55 and Alive, you'll discover how to embrace change, foster meaningful relationships, and unlock new passions. You will learn how to thrive physically, mentally, and emotionally in your golden years. From maintaining your health and building resilience to finding joy in those everyday moments, Over 55 and Alive will empower you to live with vitality and with purpose. Author Michael Cook shares insights on family dynamics, community involvement, and the power of gratitude to create a life that's rich with both experiences and connections. Embrace the future with grace and confidence and order your copy of Over 55 and Alive from author Michael Cook. You will be inspired to live fully and prove that the best is yet to come. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and over55andalive.com. Make the most of every moment. Order your copy today. Over 55 and Alive from author Michael Cook. What if true healing goes beyond just the physical? What if it touches every part of who you are? From author and pastor Eric Joseph comes a book that will take you on a life-changing journey towards complete healing and well-being. Be Made Whole, the 5 dimensions of healing with daily self-care practices. Available on Amazon. Eric Joseph, a pastor for over 21 years and a licensed professional counselor with over 12 years of experience, will guide you through the 5 dimensions of healing: physical, mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual. Be Made Whole shares powerful self-care practices that will nourish your body, soothe your soul, and bring peace to your mind. Imagine a life where your body thrives, your relationships are strengthened, your mind is calm, and your spirit is anchored in purpose. With Be Made Whole, you will have the tools to create lasting transformation, leading to greater health, happiness, and fulfillment. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Available in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Begin your journey to wholeness with Be Made Whole, the 5 dimensions of healing with daily self-care practices from author and pastor Eric Joseph on Amazon. How'd you like a little positivity in your day? Hugify Creations on Etsy has you covered with digital products designed to uplift your heart and inspire joy. Hugify Creations on Etsy have much, much more too, from cozy, stylish fan throw pillows to t-shirts with a touch of comfort and flair. They're also offering a 200 digital product ideas to sell on Etsy in 2025. This downloadable PDF is packed with trending and profitable ideas, from printable art to AR filters. It's perfect for anyone who's ready to stay ahead in the digital marketplace in 2025. Support mental health, bring positivity into your home, and boost your sales with Hugify Creations on Etsy. Online at hugifycreations.etsy.com. Share the shop on all your social media so your friends can bring positivity into their life too. hugifycreations.etsy.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Okay, so all of a sudden, you know, the Democrats who have been propping up Kennedys for more than half a century through rape trials, vehicular, drunken manslaughter, abuse of women, all this stuff, all of a sudden, no more. No, you know, they're drawing the line with Bobby Kennedy Jr., right? And they're really upset about this HHS secretary, and that's a big department, Center for Disease Control, FDA. There's like a dozen different, 10 to 12 government agencies are under this department. It's huge. And Jennings on CNN, who I can't believe they keep this guy around. He's there with a panel, and of course the CNN anchors think that Robert Kennedy is a bad choice. And I love this standard that they have on the left with Trump's picks, right? like there's anyone Trump would pick that they would say, that's perfect. No matter who he picked, they would say it's bad. If he picked Sanjay Gupta, the CNN medical correspondent, they would say, oh, that's a terrible choice. Sanjay Gupta's bad, even though he's our medical guy, you know. So anyway, I wanted to play this. This is this panel.
Well, first of all, before you play that, whoever decided that journalists have the right to say what's good and what's bad,
or no,
or who's good and who's bad? I mean, who the hell are they
exactly
to say that?
Scumbags.
You know what I mean?
Scumbags. That's who they are.
These are people that are fed lines and scripts to say. They're told what to say by whoever. Yeah. They're into brainwashing. And they have to sell it. That's their job. They have to sell it. They have to sell what they're not the garbage they're spewing.
They're not good at selling because Trump just won re-election after a 4-year break.
I think that's obvious. Their brainwashing did not work this time.
So anyway, they're sitting around on CNN talking about what a danger to public health Bobby Kennedy is.
If we're being intellectually honest, there's really no good reason why Bobby Kennedy, RFK Jr., should be HHS secretary. An advisor, a confidant, somebody who talks to the president and advises, but there's no managerial experience in his resume. There's nothing that says he is qualified to do this job that is in charge of the health of all of us, all these different lanes. If he has views and has insights around food sources, around vaccines, then those should be given in advisory roles.
Why?
Because
what were the qualifications of the previous ones?
Well, I think it's important to always remember that you put yourself... Say that again?
What were the management qualifications? I mean, Xavier Becerra...
I'm not talking about the previous. I'm looking forward.
But you're calling into question whether he could actually do this job. And I think it's...
Absolutely. I think America is now, and I think
it's important to discuss it because Xavier Becerra was just a lawyer and a politician with no management experience.
So does two wrongs make a right?
Sylvia Burwell was a Walmart lobbyist. Donna Shalala was a university person. Look,
RFK Jr. is a nut.
Okay, so that's different than what you just said. You just said he doesn't possess the requisite managerial experience, but then we get to the real issue here, which is you want to insult the man, which is your right to do because you opposed him in the election. But you, doctor, are raising the issues that he has been raising, and I think they're appropriate questions to raise. I don't know whether he can be confirmed or not. The vaccine stuff at the table.
Okay, so he goes on, but you know, these other people that have had that job, none of them are doctors. A lawyer, a politician, a Walmart lobbyist, a college professor.
That Scott Jennings is a gem.
Isn't he good?
I love him, and if they were smart, they'd give him an 8:00 show against Jesse. Because I'm telling you, I would watch that guy. He is smart, he's quick, and he knows his stuff. He does not go to that table unprepared. He's got an answer for everything.
Oh, yeah.
He's eloquent, and he says it in a way where they, don't have a response. There'll be dead silence after he speaks because what he does is how you deal with the left. And you've done this on the radio and stuff with callers. You just point out their hypocrisy. It's as simple as that. You point out where, he just did. Well, these other people didn't have any managerial qualifications, but they were
and they're not doctors or anything.
You know, exactly. So why is he different now?
Because he's with
all
Trump.
Of a sudden,
because he's MAGA.
Because he's MAGA. That's exactly right. And all you have to do, because the liberals swim in hypocrisy, they're the most hypocritical. They're just so hypocritical. And all you got to do is point it out. It's simple, and they have nowhere to go because it's whatever rules they have don't apply to them. They apply to Republicans only.
That's right.
And especially people that support Trump. Mm-hmm. And that's all you got to do. But I love that guy. I don't watch that show, but I like the clips I see, and I think he's amazing. And I think CNN, I don't think this will happen, but they would be very smart to give this guy his own show.
No doubt.
And Fox News should consider stealing this guy from them and giving him a show because this guy needs his own show.
He's the only thing
he's the
only thing credible on CNN. That's
Somebody
for sure.
should give him a show because the guy's good. And if you hire him, Newsmax, News Nation, whoever, give him a big contract, he will be the star of that network and he will bring in so many people because the guy's amazing.
Yeah. And, I have noticed, and I don't know if any of you have noticed this, okay? But I've noticed this. When I'm going around in my MAGA gear, I'm being treated a lot nicer than I was a couple weeks ago. Today, you guys know I go to Starbucks and live stream on the weekends, and today's Saturday. And Saturday morning, Starbucks opens up at 5:30, and I'm usually the first customer. I get my coffee, and and I sit out front in Starbucks and I live stream on YouTube for an hour or so. And usually what I do, because I have a rule of thumb, anywhere I go where they give me food or drink, I don't wear my MAGA gear. And I know a lot of people will say, well, you know, you go to Starbucks, you can see them make your coffee. Yeah, but I don't want them to give me decaf, right? So
Not
I don't
always. If you're in the drive-thru, you can't see them make it.
Well,
all the
no.
time.
Like if I went inside with my Trump gear, you can watch them because I go inside in order because I'm going to live stream out front. And today, for the first time, I went in because it was cold. It was like 60-something degrees in Florida. That's the dead of winter. So I was wearing my Trump sweatshirt, hoodie, and a MAGA hat. And they were so nice to me. And they were really nice to me. And there were two other guys that came, by the way, wearing MAGA gear after I was there live streaming. But
well, what do you think that's about?
I think a lot more people are MAGA than you think. And
I agree.
there's been a lot of people that have been in the closet.
Afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we're free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really. It feels that way.
There's enough MAGA people that they don't have to hide it.
Well, there always was, but the media made it seem the opposite.
Well, no,
and the people, because I think it's because Trump won the popular vote. I think that was a game changer. Winning the electoral vote is, of course, what you need to win, the presidency. But he won the popular vote, the House, the Senate, and like I said, there's more Republican governors than Democratic governors in the country right now. So it is a MAGA country. And I think you're right. And him winning the popular vote made it okay for people that weren't comfortable to feel, you know what? Because before you'd go into Starbucks and you would walk in assuming everybody hates Trump. But now you walk in and you assume, gee, I bet everybody likes the guy now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Isn't that a good feeling?
The MAGA people are coming out of the closet. That's what.
Yeah.
Oh, now earlier in the podcast, we talked about this thing with Whoopi Goldberg at the bakery. And as I've been going through the news during the show, that bakery story with Whoopi is really gaining steam.
Oh, yeah. She's going to lose her job over this.
It's the weekend. And, you know, when the weekday comes, there could be, there's going to, Trump will do something on Monday with an appointment or something, and it could get it out of the news. But I think that ABC probably would like to dump her or do a major change on The View. And
they need to.
They're going to use this quite likely good chance that they'll use this as an excuse to revamp that show. And it's
because otherwise she would say they're racist. So this is a good reason to get rid of her because she maligned a business, not only a business, but a business that's been in the country 150 years, a family business that's very well known in Staten Island. And she maligned their name. She lied. Then they came out, had a huge, what they did was amazing. They came out and had a huge press conference with the owners and the city commissioners and a bunch of people in the neighborhood basically calling her a liar. I've never seen anything like that. And if ABC does not take this opportunity to fire her, then somebody at the executive level is like her best friend and just absolutely is protecting her.
Well, you know, the thing with this story with Whoopi, and this may not be the final thing to get, but there's a definite change. Here's the thing. Democrats, and it's changed like on a dime since Trump won re-election here, right? Because, you know, he won re-election after 4 years break, right? Democrats have had a license to do and say whatever they want without any repercussions, no matter who it hurts, no matter how slanderous it is. And now what we're starting to see with this re-election of Trump is that liberals are being held to the same standard as conservatives. You can't lie, you can't slander people, you can't destroy someone's business, you can't lie about someone. You know, and
they don't feel they got to take it anymore.
Well, Democrats are not used to accountability.
Right.
So a lot of Democrats, like Whoopi is right now, are going to start getting jammed up in things.
I'm wondering if this happened before the election. Do you think this bakery would have come out and attacked her?
No.
Yeah, you're right. The Democrats are now, they're now the pariahs of society. And nobody, even their own people, when Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid's numbers went down, those weren't MAGA people that stopped watching them. No, MAGA people don't watch those idiots. That's their own people that stopped watching them. They're pissed because they didn't deliver on what they promised.
That's right.
So they cut them loose. They canceled them. That's what liberals do. So they are now the pariahs. They are now the people nobody wants to associate with and be affiliated with. Their popularity, just like during the Cold War with Russia, was all a ruse. You know, we were always afraid of Russia. My dad in the 50s said they had bomb drills and they'd have to hide under their desk when he was in high school in the 50s and all this stuff. The Cold War was all fake.
Yep.
Russia was never a threat. It was all, and it was to give the impression, and we lived in constant fear. Remember all the TV movies, The Day After? I grew up terrified of a nuclear war because my dad was raised like that in Ohio. He grew up in Cleveland. And the way we grew up with movies in the 80s, I mean, that continued for decades. Fear of communism and this.
Well, they're still trying to do it with Russia, like this thing with Tulsi.
They're still doing
trying to make us
but
afraid of Russia.
people have finally, the news has gotten so out of control that people, I really think, are waking up and realizing that it's all a bunch of nonsense.
You know what? I've been saying for years that the whole Cold War was a lie. It was all fake stuff like we're seeing now.
So people could get rich.
Yeah.
Well, now what's coming apart, real quick, I want to say before I forget, is with Elon Musk and this Doge group, DOGE. They're on X. You can follow them.
Like Dogecoin.
What's really coming apart now, Elon has tweeted about this today, is all these nations, including our own, that have made billions off climate change, and they don't know where any of that money has gone. Billions and billions of dollars have gone to countries. Elon's going to audit all of that. He is going to audit all the money we've given people, even people in our own country. He said there was a study done on hamsters that cost $3 million, and it was like the dumbest thing. And he said, this is money laundering, is what this is. So there's a lot of things with climate change you are going to see being exposed as a grifting, and it's going to come apart.
I remember when we were in high school, there was one of these things that came out of government waste. They spent, I don't remember how many millions it was, but it was many millions of dollars the federal government spent, I'm not kidding, researching the crusty, hardened ketchup on the top of glass ketchup bottles. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah, that's all baloney.
It's all money line. It's stealing.
That's what climate change is. It's a grift.
Yeah.
And Elon is he's going to expose that. And this is a guy who makes electric cars. He is going to expose all this money going out for climate change that's being fraudulently used.
That's what gives him the credibility to expose it.
So that'll be interesting.
EV guy. Now, I want to talk about Dr. Appleton. You know, the first time Dr. Appleton rid me of pain, he's done it 6 times now, but the first time was about 2.5 years ago, and it was my right knee. And my right knee had been causing me all kinds of problems since I was 20 years old. I don't know why. I developed, maybe it was arthritis, I don't know what it is, but
always complained about
my right knee was always hurting, especially in the winter months, and when it was really cold. And I just gotten used to it over the years. And those of you that watch me live stream in the morning, I stand up when I'm on the air.
Yeah.
And my knee pain was so bad, it was in my right knee. I would put my weight on my left leg, and I had a chair next to me that I would lean on to take the weight off of my right leg because it hurt so much. And after 2 treatments with Dr. Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment, my years of suffering, over 30 years of suffering right knee pain was gone. 2.5 years later since that treatment, it has not returned. It is absolutely amazing. And he's rid me of pain 5 other times too. It works. And, I thought, this is what I thought. I thought aches and pains were just part of growing older because I remember when my grandparents were younger than we are now, and they were always having aches and pains. Now, of course, they didn't have the laser treatment, Dr. Appleton back then. But when I started getting aches and pains, I thought, well, that's just growing older. And it's not. Go see Dr. Appleton. We've had listeners who travel from all over America to see Dr. Appleton.
Another good thing that we haven't brought up with Dr. Appleton is how many of you take a lot of pain medication daily? Motrin, Naproxen, whatever, for years and years. That's not good for you to take. I'm not even allowed to take Motrin because of my illness, but maybe you take Tylenol, which can be toxic to your liver. How many of you guys live on those pills, Aleve, and take them all the time for something that Dr. Appleton can take care of, and you never have to take a pill again?
That's right. Now,
I mean, that's amazing right there.
Now, appointments are not necessary, and walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays, but you can make an appointment, okay? You know, if you want to make an appointment, you can. They're not necessary. And if you're coming from out of town to Florida to see Dr. Appleton, you might want to make an appointment, okay? And so I'm going to give you his number and website, and you can make an appointment, but you don't have to. Walk-ins are always welcome because Dr. Appleton knows when you're in pain, you need help, you need relief, you need it now. Here's his number. It's 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. That's AppletonChiro.com. Go talk to Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain. All right, I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We will talk to you next time.